Natasha. How are you this afternoon?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, thank you for asking, and I'm glad to have you today. I'm
Thanks.
hoping today in our coaching session you can really come out with some good insight and some ideas.
hmm
So let's talk a little bit about your goals. Currently, what are you doing? What are you doing for a living?
I am working in information technology. So
Okay.
I'm a consultant.
Okay.
I travel right now. Have you ever heard of Epic?
Oh, no, I have not. Tell me a little bit about Epic.
So they've implemented healthcare software,
Okay.
basically anything from your registration to your medical record and billing and claims software, basically. And I'm currently working for Cleveland Clinic on one of their what they call their Rev Cycle project.
Okay, nice. Do you enjoy working there?
I do. I enjoy the consultant work in particular. It's kind of being my own boss. Now that I'm a consultant, I'm not a full-time FTE,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm actually a contractor.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much I make my own schedule for the most part, but
Mhm.
I am working for myself.
Very, very good. So talk to me a little bit about some of your goals for this coaching session. What do you hope to achieve in us discussing?
So ultimately, I want to be in business for myself,
Hmm.
and I am looking for a coach, someone to help me with, not help, but more of the someone to guide me and hold me accountable for some of the goals that I want to set for myself. So I do want to go into business for
Mhm.
myself. I do want to work for myself in a totally different industry,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm looking for a coach that can help with guidance.
Okay. What industry is that? What type of business would you like to start?
I'm looking to go into real estate. Well, I'm in real estate now, but I
Mhm.
want to be in real estate full time, working for myself.
Mm-hmm. Great. And talk to me a little bit about what you hope to achieve for going into business for yourself. What are some of those short and long-term goals that you thought about?
So, in terms of short term goals, of course, I want to be able to spend more time with my family. Of course, as you know, working in corporate America, I'm constantly working. As a consultant, start at 6 a.m. in the morning, and typically my day doesn't end till sometimes 11 o'clock at night with some of the work that I'm doing. So, I'm really looking to get some of my life back and be able to spend time with my family.
And give me a little bit of an idea of what you're currently doing now. What's happening now as far as where you're at for starting your own business? Meaning, who are some of your partners? What does your day look like? How much time maybe are you currently working on that goal or working on those business ventures?
Well, in terms of real estate, I haven't been spending a whole lot of time at all in at least building my own business. I do invest in real estate, so I do have my own properties. I have some investment properties. I'm not working with clients really, and in particular, the area of real estate that I want to go into, I want to do investments.
Mhm.
So I have rental properties now, but I
Mhm.
also am looking on the commercial side.
Hmm.
So whether it's something like a strip mall or apartment complex, that's I'm trying to go on a bigger scale in real estate. So
Well, that is nice to know. Have those initiatives been successful? Tell me about how they've worked. There's some of your successes and failures in relation to those.
so far, I would say there's been successes. Of course, when the market crashed at one time,
Mhm.
that was a scary time because at that time I did have several properties, but I lucked out and I was able to sell most of them before I lost too much in those properties. So now I'm at that point where I'm trying to rebuild again. At one time, I did have about 10 residential properties, and when that stock market crashed, I sold the majority of them. I think there was only one of them that I held on to, and some land that I had, so I was able to retain land. But outside of that, I did let go of those properties because there were just so many issues with renters.
Mhm.
I had renter nightmare, so I went ahead and I let those properties go.
Okay, great. And what would you say were some of your lessons learned? Thank you for painting a picture of what hasn't worked, but what are some of the lessons learned do you think that you gather that can help you in your success?
I think the biggest thing is that I can't do real estate part-time. I
Mhm.
need to do it full-time.
Mhm.
And that's why I figure that if I want to be in the real estate business, I need to be in there full-time because at the time I was doing the same thing I'm doing now. I was working in information technology and I had these properties. So daytime I'm at the office, in the
Mhm.
evening I'm painting houses or
Mhm.
cleaning up houses and getting them ready for renters, and it was just too much to try to balance. So I'd say once I get back into real estate, the thing that I do want to focus on is doing it full time.
Okay, great. What do you think are 3 vital options you can utilize to get you to that full-time status? Because I know you currently mentioned you're working in the IT field now, so of course that would take a leap to go over into real estate. What are 3 options that you think you could utilize to get you there?
Um, well, one way that I thought of leveraging the work that I'm doing right now, of course, mainly it's financial. It's providing the financial income that I need to purchase properties. So I'm leveraging that aspect, at least, of being in information technology, but I realize I have to get out of it. If I'm gonna, be in real estate full time and eventually get to a point where I do have my own brokerage firm right now, and I do want to have a full service brokerage firm where I'm working with investors, I'm working with clients buying residential property as well as commercial property. So I think some of the options that I want to work on, I would like to find someone who's in the business who can mentor me. In particular, if there's a broker who has their own real estate brokerage firm, I think that's one of the options that I want to seek out. I want to partner with someone that can help show me the ropes, who has been in the business full time. It's not trying to juggle another career and real estate at the same time, and show me how they could be in real estate full time.
Great. And talk to me about some of the benefits that you think that, for example, a coach or someone in the business could give you. What are some immediate benefits and also costs tied to that?
I think timing is one thing. I have to find someone with the flexibility, someone who's available to work with me. Of course, the real estate industry is very busy. It takes a lot of time to coach and mentor someone, so I need to make sure that I'm available. Like I mentioned, that I travel right now, so if I am lucky enough to find a good mentor here in Atlanta, I have to make myself available to meet with them and spend the time with them.
Great. I know sometimes in these ventures, having multiple options is very valuable. So a coach is really important. I can see how that would give you the hands-on expertise that you need. But what are some other essential options do you think you could use to get you into the full-time real estate business?
I would like to get a business plan together. As I mentioned, real estate is such a large industry, and sometimes I feel like I need to focus on one area. So I've thought about, should I just focus on investing myself? Should I focus on residential clients? Should I focus on commercial clients? There's so many aspects of real estate. So I think that I really need to start working on a business plan that'll help me focus on the area that I want to at least start with. I could always start with working with residential clients, for example, and eventually start working with commercial, but I need to pick an area to focus on. So I think putting together that business plan that helps me focus on, for the short term, here's the area that I'm going to work on, and then more long term, adding other services to my brokerage firm.
That sounds really good, very ambitious. A business plan takes a long time and a lot of preparation in the front end, which I know you're very well prepared for, but how do you plan to implement that with currently your full-time resources needed in your IT career?
Yeah, I think I need to do some research. I need to research. When I first started out in real estate, I worked with residential clients, and I got to a point where I was so frustrated because I think one of the big reasons why is because I didn't have a lot of time to work with them, because of course I had to go to my full-time job the next day, and I think I started getting frustrated. So I want to really research the area of real estate that I want to go into and make sure that I'm clear that that's the area I want to work in as I develop that business plan.
And how committed how committed can you tell me you are to committing your goal of being in real estate for yourself full-time on a scale of 1 to 10?
In terms of commitment,
Yes.
I feel like I'm at a 10 in terms of commitment, because that's one of the reasons that I joined the EMBA program, because I wanted to make sure I had the business acumen and the skill sets needed, a wide variety of skill sets to run my own company. So I really think that I'm really committed because I joined this program to get those skills just so I could start this business.
Okay. And other than commitment, what do you think? Other than commitment, what do you think fuels you that you can accomplish this goal? What is another essential? Yeah.
I have to think about that. I never thought about that. That's a good question.
Maybe talk to me in terms of your skills, maybe in terms of your network, things of that sort, and whatever else you'd like to add that you think are really handy tools that you have to keep you at the 10 or make you successful.
I think the investment side. I think that I can definitely give a lot of advice to clients looking at investing in real estate because I have done it as long as I have. And my mom has done it, so I grew up working with my mom in real estate. So I think I have a lot of experience that I can lend to investors in particular.
Great. And of course, we know networks are always very important, but what type of support do you think you need to get you into this full-time real estate business for yourself?
I've always felt like I needed a partner, but there's a large support system that I really feel that I need. Let me think about that. That's another great question. In terms of support, I would really like to partner with another broker who's in the Atlanta area in particular because I want to start here in Atlanta. I didn't mention that not only am I interested in the Atlanta market, but I am also looking overseas as well eventually. So I think to start though, I would like to find a broker here in the Atlanta area, someone who potentially started part-time and then eventually transitioned so that they can help mentor me into how to make that transition.
Great. Also, I want to talk to you a little bit about where you rate yourself as far as your preparedness to complete your goals on a scale of 1 to 10.
I would say even though I have my real estate license, I have my broker's license, and I've had it for some years now, over 15 years, I still feel like because of the time that I focus on being in information technology and working full-time in corporate America, I don't have enough experience working in a full-time brokerage firm in all the aspects of what it takes to run a full real estate company. So I think maybe I'm more around a 4 or 5 in that area.
Okay. Do you have any idea of a plan that maybe you can put in place that will close that gap and maybe move that 4 to a 7 or something a little bit more prepared?
Yeah, I think if I had an opportunity to work with that mentor again that I keep mentioning, and just had an opportunity to maybe shadow them in their own brokerage firm to see the types of things that they're doing, the type of things that I have to be prepared for in terms of location or staff that I would need. So I think if I had that opportunity to get some hands-on experience working with someone or shadowing someone, that'll kind of close the gap and make me feel a little bit more comfortable in terms of what I need to prepare for.
Okay. And when is your idea of when you will get in touch with the mentor and actually link up and make that relationship? What's your time frame do you have?
Well, the great thing is that through the EMBA program, I was actually matched up with a mentor.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah. So
Congratulations.
we started meeting and only had a couple of first meetings. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to, meet on a regular basis. He is very open. He's actually here in the Atlanta market. And it looks like we're going to meet every 6 weeks or so.
Okay, great. And for every 6 weeks, what length of time would you spend with that person?
We typically meet for about an hour.
Okay.
And there's usually action items that I'm given to accomplish. So far we just started out, we had our initial meetings, but we did talk about, in our next meeting, we're going to talk about what it takes to be in real estate.
Okay. And I know you mentioned a lot about wanting this partner. I'm glad you were able to link up with someone. Do you feel an hour is enough for you? Are you getting all that you need in that hour from that person?
I think initially that was enough just for us to get acquainted with each other and
Mhm.
make sure that we wanted to work together.
Right.
But like I mentioned earlier, I really want to have the opportunity to maybe shadow him.
Mhm.
So that's one of the things that I did request, that we spend more time together. I have opportunity to actually go to one of his offices. He has several offices here in the Atlanta area.
Mhm.
So I would like to maybe partner with one of his office managers just to see how the business is run.
Okay, great. And you mentioned a lot about the business plan, which I think is great, and it's a really great thought. How are you incorporating your preparation of the business plan into your mentor and this plan that you have going?
That's perfect that you asked that, actually, because that's one of the things that I have on our next agenda. And I'm gonna ask him, in terms of the business plan, what do I need to include in a business plan? Of course, real estate is not a new business, so I'm sure there's a template or something that I can use. So I am planning to talk to him about what I need to start thinking about in order to write that business plan.
Okay. Have you already thought about, when you come out of that meeting, how you will document if your inquiries were answered, or if you got some of the knowledge that you need? Do you have a documentation plan or some type of accountability measure to make sure you're really getting what you need?
Absolutely. It's interesting you asked, because during our session, when I met with him, he said he wants me to collect our action items and he wants me to email them to him
Wow.
that evening. So that way he can hold me accountable, and also there's action items that he takes as well so that I can hold him accountable. And I also send him a list of the things that I want to speak about in our next meeting.
Oh, great. That's a really, really great plan. So tell me how you feel about, in the beginning of our coaching session now, coming towards, we've talked about your business plan and having your partnership. How do you feel now, again, if you want to reassess yourself, or, yes, I feel this is a goal I can do on 1 to 10 as far as your commitment, comparing the beginning of the session till now?
I think one thing I learned from this session is, as much as I thought I wasn't prepared or I wasn't on the way, just some of the questions that you asked me, I think that I'm headed in the right direction.
Mhm.
So I do think that if I focus on those things that we talked about in terms of the mentor, that support system, also getting that business plan together and ready. So I do think that I'm probably more, when we started our session, I think I was somewhere around a 5, but I think now I may be around a 7, 8.
Great, great. And to make sure that you keep yourself at that 8, do you mind checking in with me maybe, so that we can keep in touch on how those are going, your relationship with your coach and also your business plan? How do you feel about checking in to make sure you stay at that 8 and maybe even make yourself a 10?
Absolutely. I'm happy that you asked that, because even in speaking to my mentor, he mentioned that not only do I need a mentor, but I also should consider having a coach as well. So I'm hoping that you and I can meet on a regular basis as well. I'm not sure about your flexibility, but if you let me know when you're available, I'll definitely schedule the time with you.
Yes, well, I'm definitely here for you, Natasha. I'm glad you agreed to that. I think it would be very, very helpful. In our next session, is there anything that you'd like to discuss more, or how do you feel about the next session? What are some of your wants? Do you have any?
In particular, some of the things that you and I talked about today, I want to make sure that I do them. That's one of the things that, like I mentioned, it's been years that I've been in real estate. And I feel that, I could be a lot further along if there was someone that was holding me accountable. So I think if, some of the things that I talked to you about, the fact that I want to focus on working with my mentor, getting my business plan together, focusing on the area of real estate that I want to be in. If you can just continue to follow up with me on where I am in accomplishing those items, that will be really helpful.
Oh, great. Well, I'm always here to talk with you and coach you in any way possible, Natasha. And I thank you for your time today, and I wish you a lot of luck in your business endeavors.
I really appreciate it. So should I go ahead and send you an invite, or what's the best way for us to communicate?
That would be great. You check your schedule, and mine is available when you look in Outlook, and send me an invite, and I'm here for you.
All right. I'll do that for sure. So let's say, to start out, maybe bi-weekly we can meet. Does that work for you?
That would be great.
Okay.
Yes, I'm very open to that.
All right. I will send you an invite. I really appreciate it.
Likewise. Thank you so much, Natasha.
And before we finish up, let me ask you, is there anything in particular that you want me to bring back to our next session?
I would like you to bring back some wins that you've had from your coaching session. I know he's a very vital partner for you and he has a lot of information. So maybe some wins that you found when he reviewed your business plan and also in your discussions.
Okay. All right. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thank
Well, I
you so
really
much.
appreciate the time that you're taking to work with me.
Likewise. Thank you, Natasha. Good luck.
All right. Thanks.